Hey, what's up, guys? I'm out here in the boat, working on a couple of things, and I decided I'm going to go ahead and do a little video on a derby I fished at Kerr Lake last weekend. I've been having issues with my cameras, so I was not able to record the day of fishing, which really sucks because I had a couple of hours there where the fishing was like really good. Now, the rest of the day, not so much, but because of my cameras not working, I did not want to take the time on a tournament day to try and figure it out. I just wanted to fish. So that's pretty much this video, what it's about in a nutshell. This is the what, where, and why for Kerr Lake from tournament on last Saturday, November the 9th, I believe it was. The fishing, I had no idea what it was like because I had not been to Kerr since June when we had our 2-day championship for this same division. This was ABA Piedmont Division. So I had saw that the lake was down to 297 is what they said the water level was. It sure looked lower than that to me. It looked really low. I question a lot of times how accurate those water levels are on any of the apps or any of the websites you look at, because it sure looked lower than that to me. Anyway, didn't know what to expect. Saw how low the water was. So in my mind, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run to spots that have worked in the past because I didn't know really what was going on right now. My first, I forget, 7 or 8 spots I went to, I did nothing. Saw very little bait. I was fishing what I call the mid-lake area. Ivy Hill, Eastland Creek, Rudd's Creek, Mill Creek, around in there. And I hit like 8 different spots where usually I can get a fish or two. I didn't see very much bait, and I didn't get any bites. At 10:30, 11 o'clock, I did not have a fish. So I sat down for a second and started looking at my mapping. I got pretty, I got 2 7-inch Lowrance units on my boat, and I bought recently this year, got a Garmin 9-inch unit so I could have some map shading and better mapping than what I had. And the Garmin has come in to be a big help with the mapping, especially with the depth shading and stuff like that. And their side and down imaging is really good as well. It's definitely been a help adding that to the boat. I started looking around on the mapping, and I found an area that had a good long channel that swung, a channel bank that swung back in this pocket off of the main lake. And I had already fished a couple of short, small channel banks in areas that I usually like to fish, and hadn't done nothing with those. Like I said, 7 or 8 spots, I hadn't caught a fish. As soon as I pulled into this main lake pocket, before I even got to the stretch where the channel bank ran right up against the bank there, I saw a lot of bait. And immediately I felt better just because I knew I was around bait. I hadn't seen any bait all day. And I started fishing. About 15 minutes in, I caught a short largemouth. And that's when, at about 11 o'clock, when things really started to happen. They started coming up, feeding and schooling up on all that bait that I saw. And I picked up a walking topwater. This is one that I throw a lot, but this is actually a different color. This is that Uzuri that I'm always talking about. The top knot pencil bait. But this is actually a saltwater version that I've really been doing well with the last 2 or 3 months. And I'm not even sure. I think the color is like a mullet is what it's called. But I like it because I like all of the Uzuris because they had the prism finish. But this, and you can see it better on the rod, this one has, let me unhook it here for a second without getting the hook in my hand. This one has a blue finish to the top. And I have lots of luck in a lot of the lakes, Kerr, Gas, and other places I fish, with anything chrome and blue. But this particular bait, I was able to catch a couple of fish right off the bat with it. But they were small, they weren't keepers. When they were coming up, I was catching the smaller fish. But that is the bait that I started getting a few bites on. This is on the Cast King Royal Legend GT reel that I like. I think it's 15-pound Berkeley Big Game. That's the bait. I throw all my walking topwater baits. This is probably gonna be odd to some people. Some people still do it, I think, though, on a 6-foot rod. And that's basically because I can walk the bait much better with a shorter rod than I can one 6.5, 7 foot. You know, it's just easier for me to work the bait and get good action into it with that. But that was the setup I was using. 6-foot Bass Pro Shops, actually a Graphite Series rod. It's just, I've used those for walking top waters for years. I just replaced the one I had that I had been using for like 10 or 12 years. I just replaced it with a new one. So it's still like a $40 rod. But the medium heavy is good for top waters. The thing that really started to help me, like I said, I was just catching smaller fish with the top waters when I switched to a crankbait. This is the Rapala BX Brat, and this is the 6-foot model, not the 3-foot, but the 6-foot model. And as soon as I started throwing this, I started catching fish. And between 11 and 1 o'clock, I probably caught 20 bass. 2 or 3 on that, the rest on this. I ended up with a limit of spotted bass and largemouth that weigh just under 11 pounds. And that doesn't sound like a lot, I get that. But turns out it was a pretty tough day. We had 30 boats, and it only took 12 pounds, maybe 12 pounds, 5, 6 ounces to win. And I had 10 pounds, 10.43 with my 5 that I ended up weighing in. And I'm pretty sure I did make a mistake culling. I probably, when you're catching schooling fish, it's easy to start putting the cold tags on, putting them in the live well. I'm pretty sure at one point I threw a fish back that I should have kept. It would have gave me another 5, 6 ounces. That would have at least moved me up to second or third. Third at least, I know, but that's on me. I got in a rush trying to cull fish. They were schooling, and that was a mistake on my part. But this is the bait. This is called, I believe, this color is called Olive Shad. And it's, like I said, it's the BX Brat. It's a little square bill, and this is the 6-foot version of it. And this has always been a good bait for me at Kerr. I've caught so many fish with this bait over the years, and there's a good look at it. But this is what they wanted. That's the bait they wanted. Middle Lake area, even when they stopped schooling, I could still catch them with this bait. I feel like this was getting underneath the bait because it's a 5, 6 foot diving bait. It's on 12-pound Berkeley Big Game. My cranking stick I always used, and this is actually an Abu Garcia winch. The last one I have left. I had 2 or 3 of these, but I'm gonna just say this is the last one I had left. The other 2 did not last very long because I crank a lot and they just did not hold up. But this is what I was using. This is what I caught all my fish on between 11 and 1 o'clock. I can tell you this right now, if you're going to fish Kerr, and it's not no surprise in the fall, if you ain't around a lot of bait, you might not get a whole lot of bites, because I would see little pods of bait, but nothing was going on around them. But when I went in there and started fishing that channel bank, and that bait, I mean clouds, just big balls, pods of bait. When they started schooling, it was crazy. I used to saltwater fish when I was a kid, when I was younger, and it was like watching the blues run down at the Outer Banks. They were just, I mean, when you catch one, you were flipping them into the boat, 4 or 5 shad were flying out of their mouth. So, like I said, it's typical fall fishing, fall pattern, but it went from being a really slow day, and I was pretty happy, honestly, because I had fished from 7 to 11 o'clock and hadn't had a bite. And then from 11 to 1, I got around some that were schooling, and I got in an area where there was a lot of bait. And even when they weren't schooling, I was still able to catch fish. And the primary bait, without a doubt, was this 6-foot BX Brat. And it's either olive shad or natural shad. I'll look the color up and I'll put it in the description for the video. But ended up 6th out of 30 boats, but you know, 1st to 6th place was separated by 1.5 pounds. So if I wouldn't have made my culling mistake, and if I would have just got one more decent bite, I could have very easily have won. So, you know, you never know what no one else is catching. All you can do is catch the fish that bite for you, and put them in the boat. And that's the biggest thing, is fishing clean. Every time you get a bite, try to get him in the boat. Because 9 times out of 10 in any kind of derby at any level, think about it. Club tournament, you know, regional tournament, it doesn't matter. You lose a fish, most of the time, it costs you something. Might be the last paying spot. Might be a win. Might be some points that get you Angler of the Year in your club or whatever. So fishing clean is important. So anyway, I just wanted to go over this. Again, this was, I was fishing the mid-lake area, what I call mid-lake area. I was jumping around between Rudd's, Eastland, Mill Creek, Ivy Hill area. But it's when I found this pocket off the main lake that had a channel swing bank on it, and boom, that was all it took. That was the deal for me, and that's what worked, and these are the baits that work. So I appreciate y'all watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would ask that you would. And I appreciate all the comments, likes. You guys got any suggestions for anything you'd like see me do a video on? You got any questions about cranking, what I do and how I do it and why I do it the way I do? But that's the what, where, and why. The what was the baits I was using. This crankbait was the main bait. Why they were there was because of the bait. There was just tons of bait everywhere. And why I called them is because they were just aggressively, and they were just feeding fish. I finally ran into some that were feeding. So hope this helps somebody. If you're headed to Kerr, look for bait, you'll catch some bass. It's a typical fall pattern. So I appreciate you guys watching. And again, please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next one. I'm going to start doing some more product reviews. There's several different products I've used during the course of the year. And now that I've spent some time with them, I feel like I can give you a good, honest review about them. I've done a couple of rods and stuff. I got some other stuff I'm going to do too. Baits, stuff for your boat, different kinds of things like that. Just things that could be helpful, products that help you with your fishing. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.